Okay guys, so this is my challenge to myself, because people always say, well, you have to challenge yourself, like set a goal. So my goal for this is to make a journal cover covered in glitter in less than an hour. Now it's not gonna just be a flippy flappy or whatever. This is just a journal cover. This isn't everything. This isn't all of that. So first thing we're going to do is decide on the size. So I take my ruler and I measure. Most of the time my journals are 8.5. So that is what my goal is going to be. Right there. 8.5 right there. And so I'm going to pull this up 8.5, and I'm going to make a good mark, one I can see. So then I'm going to fold this up, and it's not that hard to get it to be right because it has a centering line built in. So we're going to get our bone folder and we're just going to crease it. Okay. So then you have to decide, do you want this to be the actual center of your journal? Now, if not, sometimes you can get 2 journal covers out of 1 file folder. And I'll show you that too. So you would cut the file folder down the middle, and then you would measure to wherever you want to measure, and that would be 8.5, and then it would be you fold it over. And so maybe that's what I'm going to do. Just that's easier, and I only got an hour, so I mean that's easier. So put this in and cut it down the middle. You're like, you're already scored it, girl. No, you can change that easy. Huh. I really got to change the blade on this thing. Ugh. Look, it only took me a week and a half to fill my glue. Okay. So come down with your ruler and you want to mark it at 8.5. We're going to cut it at 8.5. I'm not going to cut it at 8.5, okay? I'm going to cut it at 8 3/4. You have to give yourself a little bit of room on each side. And to be honest, I may have picked the wrong side of my file folder. It'll be okay. We will make this work. If you really want to, you can make anything work. Just ask my husband. He's been married to me for almost 29 years. This year will be 29 years. He'll tell you. Okay. So that's an 8.5. We're going to get these uglies from off of here for my horrible cutting. Most of the time you just pull them off, but every now and then you gotta trim it up. Okay, so we've already marked out one. That's a flap. So then we're going to come in with this one too. First we want to measure. I'm a good one to show you how to make a journal cover. Okay, so we're going to measure 4 1/4, right? So 4 1/4 is right there, but I'm going to go down to 4 1/2. I'm going to go down to 4 3/4, not all the way to 5. 4 3/4. And then I'm going to get my scoreboard because I want this to be right. So I think I just might even look and make sure I'm right. Yes, I am. And get our elusive little... Y'all, I lose this thing more than I keep track of it. And I actually tried to put it on a magnet, but it won't adhere to a magnet. So I'm always stuck looking for it. This really gets on my nerves. Oh darn, and it's really not where it goes. Oh no. Huh. That's not where it goes either. And so of course they get lost together. Okay, just like my kids, my cats. 4 3/4 is where I'm doing this at. So I'm going to go down, and then I'm just going to turn it, and I'm going to see if it will go. Yep. Okay. Then I'm going to flip it. I know this always confuses everybody, but I want to break those fibers, so I flip it. And then see if it'll run into another groove. There we go. Okay, so I've sufficiently broke my fibers. Okay. So then I'm going to get my... Because before you do anything, you have to lay a foundation. So, oh look, and I'm recycling it. Okay. These ones are not as good as the post office ones, though, I'm going to tell you. The post office ones are better than any Tyvek I've ever bought, and way better than these. Just, I guess, a different quality. I save almost every piece of Tyvek. You can always use it for something later. Or maybe you really run out of Tyvek and you've got to piece those little pieces together. So don't throw the little pieces away. You want to keep your Tyvek. So, okay. So I take the bag apart. The envelope, whatever Tyvek I have at that point. Okay. This makes a lot of journals, guys. Okay. So, I like to use inch pieces of Tyvek. So I can just cut a strip of this into an inch. And it should give me both sides easily, but I'm going to cut more than one just in case. you really want something to along that hinge that you're going to sew into. Even the hinge that's going to bend, it doesn't hurt to, you know, make it more sturdy. Okay. So let me fold my bag up, and I'm going to put it right next to me on a shelf where I know where it is, and I can reach for it every time, because I hate to see people waste a Tyvek. Tyvek is essential in making journals, junk journals, mini albums, anything. You need, this is a good thing to add more security, support. There's a better word, I just can't think of it. Okay, so get my fresh roll of score tape, and I'm going to lay it down right out of my Tyvek. Doesn't matter if it is perfectly straight. If you really want to educate yourself on journal making, I'm going to tell you, or making mini albums or any book, I'm going to tell you, you go watch Kathy Orta's older videos, and you will learn everything you need to know about journal making. Yep, you will. So then this piece is going to go on the book itself. And you can fix it later, like trim it up later. You can do all that later. And you want to put it at least a 1/16 of an inch away of your fold. Some people say 1/4 inch. I just 1/16 to 1/8, and you're okay. Okay. So then we pull that off, and then we just measure. We measure now, but we should have measured earlier. And by I mean measure, just guess. Sorry. Okay. And it doesn't matter how ugly this is, I'm just going to tell you, because it's all going to get covered up in the end. So lay that over a piece of tape. There you go. Now you got to really burnish this down. Okay. So we have this little piece. We're going to go ahead and use it. We're not going to take that off until we find the other piece of Tyvek. It should be right next to me, and tape it. But go ahead and burnish this down just to make it secure. Okay, here it is, here it is. And that's almost another whole piece. Another whole. And we don't do this for everything in the book. Just right here where it's going to fold. We're going to sew into part of this, and the other page is going to open a lot. And so to keep it from getting weak and breaking off, we're going to add the tie back. And you know, while we're just talking, maybe you want to invest in different sizes of score tape. It makes it easier, and fresher score tape is easier to work with. So remember that too. It holds better. Okay, so now we can just pull this piece off. Lay it down. Hold this one up and lay it down. I've learned that about the score tape at a retreat I went to in North Carolina, and she was a very knowledgeable lady. Okay, so let's throw this away. All our trash. You know me, can't stand it. So then we're going to fold it. Do you know what? I did this one wrong. Oh my goodness, I did it wrong. There's my fold line, and there ain't nothing on it. Ugh. Sometimes I don't think I got enough chocolate chips at the Cookie Factory. Okay. Dum dum da dum dum dum. Dum dum da dum dum dum. Dum dum dum. Okay. That's why I don't make videos at night. Actually, much as I love Larry, he distracts me a lot. Usually, my house is pretty quiet. Like, every now and then, the cats might get into a scuffle, or every now and then, you know, Jake comes in here and sits and talks, or I go talk to him in his room, but you know, for the most part, my house is really quiet. So when Larry comes home, and it's like constant guitar and constant music, and for some people, they love that. And I am sure if I had any musical inclination at all, it wouldn't bother me so much, but I don't. And to be honest, I have zero interest in it. So, my only interest in it is that he loves it. That's my interest in it. So, because I love him, and he loves it, I listen. My husband is a really good musician. There really isn't any instrument he can't just pick up and play, and he is a phenomenal drummer. But that isn't his love. His love is thrashing out on a guitar. And I've heard him play the piano. Oh my gosh, he hates it though. He was forced to play the piano as a kid, so he does not voluntarily do it. But when somebody at the church had a baby, I'm not sure her name, I don't know everybody at my church yet, he got on that piano and it was like he played it every day, and I was so amazed. I love my hubby. He's a good hubby. Okay, so that is our foundation. So let's look at it now and say what do we want to do for closure? Because it's easier to add your closure if you're going to use a ribbon or something, and so I think I'm going to use a ribbon. So I'm going to let you go just for a second while I go find a ribbon to use. Okay guys, I'm back. We're going to use this ribbon, and you have to take off like 2 minutes because I forgot and I started inking. We're only 20 minutes in. There's a chance I might do this. But I just have to ink it because, you know me, I don't like that white, even though it's not really white. So if you didn't want to use Tyvek, what do you think we could use to support it? You could use another piece of paper to reinforce it. You could use fabric. You could use, I've seen people use like, I'm trying to think of what, felt. God, you could use a lot of different things. You don't have to have the Tyvek. But Tyvek is free if you get an envelope from the post office. And since I know that a lot of people think that is dishonest, don't do that, I guess. But you can get these type of file folders in the mail from people who mail you things. You can also get them at Walmart. They sell them, you get 10 of them for $2.99. That's not bad. Or you could go on eBay and buy a roll, and that's $19.99, and it lasts you a very long time. I used to have a roll of black. But then I had a friend who worked at the post office, and every time I would come in and I would ask if I could have one, and she told me, yes, you're a post office customer, you can take some. So I would grab 1 or 2 every time I went. As long as you are a paying postal customer, you can take them. So this is going to go there. And I think that will be a good tie right there. And so we'll use that a little bit in this when we make it into a journal, and it will make it all come together. I'm going to fold this back up. I'm not going to need it anymore. And I'm going to tuck it up here where it's going to go, because we don't need it anymore. Let me get a drink of water real quick. Okay. You're not going to see this part. This is going to get covered up. But I am just telling you, it's better to put it on now before you forget about it, and then in the end, and you have to think about a weird way to make it closure. And that happens. Doing this to try to get it straight, so I know where to put my tape. On this side would be right about there. Yeah, if you don't do this, then eventually you have to figure out where your closures, or what your closure is going to be, and you're just going to be like, wow, I don't know. So if you do this now, then you know. Okay, So we'll just set those aside for a minute. And we're going to look at this. And we know, I think, that we want it to close like this, right? So we're going to put, what am I going to put? Okay, since I've already have a fold on this one, I'm going to go ahead and use this file folder to make my pocket. And so I'm going to take advantage of that crease that's already in there, and I'm going to use that for my hinge. I only want to put 1/4 of an inch of a hinge. Make sure you have it lined up with the lines on your scoreboard. Not the imaginary line in your head. Okay. So, alright, when you're going to make your pocket for your junk journal, those really don't matter. So you measure where you want your pocket. I'm so sorry, my voice is breaking sometimes. So, okay, you know that's where you want it. It's going to line right up there with that line. Okay, that's the line. So you're going to add about 1/2 of an inch, right? Okay, because you got to have a hinge. You don't have to have a hinge. You can do like some people do and just, you know, they don't add a hinge. They just glue it right along the edge. They glue it. And they glue there, and they glue there, and there's no hinge. And I don't like that. I don't do that. I don't do that. It's not my thing. So, let's make our hinges. So you have a 1/4 of an inch here, and we're just going to rotate it because this board is a little off, just a little. Okay, and then I'm going to do it again to this side. I don't think that's straight. Okay. So we're going to do one right there. Okay? Okay. We're not done with that yet. Or that. So, we're going to miter these corners. That's what it's called, mitering. You really need to do this. I would say you don't have to do this, but you really need to do this because you need this to be not so bulky. You want to do this. And before somebody says something negative to me, I'm not saying anything is wrong with just gluing it down. It's just not something I do. If you do it, it's okay. It's okay with me. Y'all, it smells so much like rain. I just wish it would rain. We get very little rain here. Although, some people say it rains all the time here. I just don't experience it. Okay, so but it smells like rain. one pocket. There's. And you know, I leave all the natural like flaws of my file folders in. I like them. Like, see, there's that little notch there. I like that. So I leave them in. I'm going to ink these real quick. And I might notch them. I might not, but I might. Okay. So we know these are going to go right. That may not be. What did I do wrong? Did I not measure it right? You know what? I didn't measure it right. Okay, I need to score this right there. Okay, and then this one, I knew this one was going to be a little off, but I didn't know it would be that much off. Okay, yeah. That's where it falls. Could that go in the middle? Would it be better in the middle? Sure. No. I'm just going to do this because I have something else in mind for the middle. I'm not usually that much off. Wow, I'm really off. Huh. No biggie. Wasted file folder. Okay. And then I'm just going to cut it and hope I get it close because, God, I'm really off today. Okay. That should be right. Yes. And yes. Okay. Just took 5 tries. That one's not quite. So I'm just going to go with this one. It's 1/8 of an inch. The other one was 1/4 of an inch. You don't have to use score tape. You could use glue. I use both glue and score tape. Okay, so I'm going to burnish them down and get my glue into there. Oh, it got so quiet. Dear. No more rainy smell. No rain. I could live in a dark, gloomy day my whole life. Okay, so that's going to go there. And then this is going to go there. Leaves a lot of space up there. Okay, so maybe I should darken this line just for prosperity's sake. Okay. I don't want any more mismeasured pages. Couldn't draw a straight line to save my life. Okay, so there. Okay, so this one I'm gonna do here, right? Okay. And so we're going to go about a ½ inch, right? That's what I said last time, and I ended up at God knows what. Okay. I have a bigger board. I gotta get it out. Nope, I can't get it out. So the little board will do. Okay. So I want. Let me see. Is that gonna be too tall? Yeah. So let's square this side. Okay. I'm going to do a little more than a ½ inch. I'm going to do 3/8. Right there at that thingy, that notch. I'm going to cut that off. I'm not going to throw that away. I'm going to save it. I'm going to use it for some. Okay. And then I'm just going to use these. They're already grooves in there, so I'm just going to use those. Okay. Wow, that is really tight. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work, so I'm just thinking in my head about this. I haven't done it before. So I'm just thinking in my head. if I put this in my cutter, like so, I would get 2 diagonal pockets, right? I think so. Okay. Okay. So I have 2 diagonal pockets now. And then, if I came in here, they should fit because they fit before, right? If I have 2 diagonal pockets, and they would go side by side in the middle, right? Hey, I like that. Okay. So, I'm only going to score one side, and I'll trim the other side off. I don't really have to score it all. It's pre-scored, but I'm going to anyhow. So I'm going to do it at a quarter, like a half of an inch. And then I'm going to cut a half of an inch off this one. Right? Right. I'm going to think out loud for a minute here, guys. So, yeah. That's half an inch. Maybe I should go just a little over a half of an inch to give it a little bit of closure, I think. Like, if I go a little bit more than half of an inch, then it would fit down inside it better, I think. Who knows? I hate trying new things on a video. Okay, so let's do this little corner. Okay, so that would go right there, right? And then this one could fit right in to there. And they do come up close to the same. Okay. Hey, I like that. Okay. So that's what I'm going to do. So, too big. Okay. Now, we can't glue anything down just yet, because you have to decorate it before you put things down. So, but I'm going to go ahead and ink these real quick. Okay, so then you have to say, am I going to do anything else to this? And I think I'm going to do one more thing to the actual bones of this journal. I'm going to make one more pocket after I ink these. I don't think I need to ink the bottom of that. Nobody's really going to see the bottom of that. Okay. But this one, you're going to see everything. Because that piece over there, it's just about the right size for the pocket. So that will be my one. I try to use one file folder for the base, right? Well, this piece right here would probably be a perfect size to make a pocket right here. I don't know why those bother me so much. Now, I'm going to have to add a hinge. But, yeah, just cut right about 1/4 of an inch. I'm just going to say, let me guess. I'm going to hazard that. And say, right there. Pretty close. So I will add a hinge, 2 hinges actually. Well, I actually think I could make the hinge and it would still be long enough. So up here we threw these extra pieces, and that one is already like a hinge. So pretty good, guys, like a whole file folder, just one. So this little hinge is going to be that big. And this one, we're just going to modify a tiny bit and use it. Okay, and this, we're going to take off 3/8 off of the bottom for our hinge, and it will be fine. So we're done with that for now, and fold. My bubbies, they just sit here in rapt attention. Like, who is she talking to? She's really lost it. Okay. Can be a little hinge. It doesn't matter. Just need a hinge. So we're going to get our tape back out. There is no, we will just trim that off a little bit. Right like that. Can you see? I'm just putting the, I'm going to cut a little off there before we glue it. And then we're going to put it as close as to the edge, but we're going to leave a little itty bitty tiny bit. Okay, I'm going to show you. See that little itty bitty tiny bit that it didn't go all the way? See, there, you can see it good right there. That's the little itty bitty tiny bit. Do you know what? Gosh darn it. Gosh darn it. I needed it to go on this side, not that side. Oh, good gosh. Good golly, Miss Molly. Like that. Geesh. Okay, so you go ahead and cut that off. And I don't want to waste my square tape. So that is where I want it. Won't make that mistake twice. At least not today. You know what? I'm in a group on Facebook. I don't think they like me. I've been in this group for months. And I just don't think they like me. So I'm probably going to leave that group. It's like I can make the coolest things and somebody else will make it after me, but they compliment her and they ignore my post completely. And I just think that sucks. Or, yeah, like it's happened several times. And I don't need a lot of recognition. I really don't. But it is nice when you post something and then other people make it, but yet you never get any, like, I don't know, acknowledgement. It's really weird. I don't think I've ever offended anybody. One of the ladies in the group really offended me before in the past, but I just let it go. I don't know. It's weird. And I think the owner of the group kind of, I don't know. I don't know. I give up on things like that. People can just be rude, but I do think they don't like me. And of course I have this attitude in my head, you know, you never be a quitter. But I'm not obligated to not be a quitter in this group, so. Okay, so we have made our bones. This will be right here, right? And this pocket is going to sit right underneath it, like that. Excuse me. Then this goes here, and these go here. I like it. So far, I like it. So there is the bones to the group, the bones to this book, and then when I come back, we'll mat it and then add our pockets. But I'm probably going to cut the mats beforehand, because that would take a lot of time. So I did it. 51 minutes, guys. 51 minutes. So even if you add the minute or two that I went and rolled over there to the drawer to get the ribbon, I think I did it. In 60 minutes, I made the bones to a journal. So, okay, guys, I will see you, I don't know when. It takes a long time for me to upload. So, I don't know when you'll see it. But see you guys later. Bye.